Conor Benn just gave us a masterclass on what not to do in business, and even the best boxer in the world agrees with me, but more on what he said later. He's been with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn from the beginning, right? When he basically didn't know how to box, they took him in, raised him up, obviously built his profile even greater than it was. Obviously he's the son of legendary boxer Nigel Benn, but they obviously amplified all of that stuff and took it to a whole nother level. Rumor has it he signed a 1-fight deal with Dana White for over 8 figures. People are saying it's between $10 to $50 million, and there's rumors talking about how it's 2 to 3 times potentially his biggest payday before. Now, so many people I know can already think about this situation, and they're like, you know what, well, obviously if you're getting 2 to 3 times what you've ever been paid, and of course you have to jump ship. And that is thinking about this very small, from a very small minded perspective. And it's like, it's not even to say, I'm not saying in this video either don't make as much money as possible. I truly believe you should make as much money as possible for as long as you maintain your integrity. And this is where the problem is. And this is why one of the things that the book of Proverbs says always rings in my mind. And it's in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 1. And I was actually reading it today, this morning, as part of my Bible reading. It says, a name is rather to be chosen than great riches. Now, the fact of the matter is, your name, which is very much linked with your integrity, is important. And this is what has been taking a lot of damage recently for Conor Benn. And this is the problem. So yes, he worked with him for 10 years, and no one says he's a prisoner, he has to stay in that particular situation forever. But the problem with Conor Benn and his situation is, he's on record saying things like, you know what, these guys are with me, they stay loyal to me when I was down.
My loyalty to Eddie, to the zone, to Matchroom, you can't teach that. You know, I'm grateful for the way they've stuck by me throughout this. I'm grateful for the way they've supported me, and I know where my bread's buttered. You know, I'm well looked after at the zone, well looked after at Matchroom. Get paid double elsewhere. I mean, if that can even happen, get paid double elsewhere, my loyalty would still stand with Matchroom.
When you say those sorts of things, when you present this image like, you know what, yeah, I'm a loyal guy, and then you jump ship, what does that say about you? That says you have a price. And this is why he's getting so much negative flack. Because if you make a decision solely based on money, and you allow your decisions to be driven and steered by money, you're basically, in simple terms, just going to be able to be sold to the highest bidder. And this is exactly what's happening here. Conor Benn is caught between this ongoing war between Eddie Hearn and Dana White, and it's obviously causing a problem. So if you're one of those people who's just so focused on the money, like, oh wow, it's 8 figures, it's 10 million, 11 million, 12 million, 30 million, you know that there's certain things, at least I hope you know, there's certain things that you wouldn't do for any amount of money, right? And everybody has their line. These are things I'm willing to do, but these are things I will not do regardless of how much money I'm going to be paid. And a good, successful business principle is like the proverb says, if you value your name, your integrity, what people say and think and believe about you more than the riches that can come, it will steer you successful in life, but also for a long period in time. So this is where I'm going to talk about the timeline, right? So let's draw this out quickly, because if you think about a boxer's timeline, a lot of people talk about boxers, they have a short window, right? So if we look at this as the window, and we think about Conor Benn, right, 10 years ago when he signed with Matchroom, if you think about the income he probably made, it was like, okay, cool. It's probably been progressing, right? And obviously recently he had the 2 fights with Eubank, which were no doubt the hugest purse he's probably ever made. So, okay, cool. So now he's in a situation where, what is he going to do next? Now he signs this agreement for 1 fight with Dana White, right? And this is the potential here for him to skyrocket his earnings. And this is the problem here. When you look at this timeline, this looks good. Like, yeah, this is exponential, but it's exponential in the wrong way. It would have been better for him if he did this instead, right? He stayed with Matchroom and he had an incremental boost, and it went like this, incremental boost. And even if it went like this, it would have been better for him. You know why? Because he would easily be able to make money for a much longer period at a higher sustained rate. Why? Because he would have had more goodwill. People would have been looking at him for a longer period of time like, yes, you know what? This is someone that I can trust. This is someone, and this is where it gets a bit dicey, right? There are people who will do business with you even though they know that you aren't a person of your word. Like, you will say one thing and do something completely different, but they're not going to trust you as much as they could trust you if you had an image, a name, which was a person of integrity, a person who, you know what, I said this and I'm going to do this. This isn't me making a video about Benn because I think he's necessarily a bad person. Obviously, I don't know him personally. But the point is, nobody says temptations, these things which are going to challenge your character and integrity, are going to be easy. The whole point is that they're not easy. If it was easy, then everybody would do it. But the fact is, it takes discipline, it takes time, it takes you thinking about why you're actually doing this stuff and what's actually important. What is more important? Is it securing more money, or is it making money and at the same time maintaining your integrity, which can help you make money for a longer period of time? I could get it. Like I mentioned this before, the boxers, yes, they have a short window to earn, but that's only if you're thinking simplistically about just my boxing career. If you think beyond your boxing career and you think about the other stuff which can potentially open up to you, there's so much more money on the table if you want, if you do the right things. So when it comes to you running your business, always think about the fact that yes, you are in business to make profit by serving a collective of people, right? Your customers, your clients, etc. But at the same time, your integrity, maintaining your integrity, will pay you so much more and so much longer when you actually take it more seriously than the money that you're actually making. And like I mentioned earlier on in today's video, right, even the best boxer in the world is agreeing with what I'm saying. And you may be thinking, well, who that is? Well, I'm talking about Terence Crawford. Now, technically, he obviously just retired recently, but if you think about something he said recently in a podcast, which I think was so powerful and I agree with, he's basically on my side. And this is what he was saying, right? They were asking him, because obviously he recently retired, he retired on the top, right? He's got nothing left to prove. And one of the podcast hosts was asking him, was saying, well, look, like, what's it going to take you to come back out of retirement, right? 100 million, whatever it is. And he's like, look, he'd sell his soul for 100 million. Like, I'll do whatever you want. And Terence is like, well, look, if I retire, if I say I'm retiring and I come back for money, then everybody's just going to see that my word doesn't mean anything. I can be bought.
Say you did all that work your whole life, undefeated, but you grind to feed your kids and to make better for your family. I always say everything got a price. Because people say, like, I love my dog, I get $100. No, I get $1,000. No, I get $100,000. Hey, you can have him. Like, my thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you know, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money? Like, I never was in a sport because of money, you know? Of course, I was in a sport to make money, but I wanted to be a world champion. Yeah. You know, I wanted to do something that I set my sights out to do as a little boy, and money wasn't the motivation. Me being a world champion was the motivation. Me accomplishing all the things that I've accomplished along the way on my journey, you know, it was like, it was an extra credit.
And what's so funny when you think about Benn and Terence Crawford is Benn comes from money, right? His dad, like I mentioned before, is a legendary boxer. Because Terence Crawford didn't come from money. And this is a key lesson for you to understand that it's not about where you come from. It's about where you are actually going. If you are a person of integrity, these are things which will take you much further, even if you're starting from a further position back. So hopefully this video is a blessing to you and it helps you. If you like this sort of video, definitely like it and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Go win and God bless.